Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Chelsea News here on Football Therapy. Backwards introduction with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, friend. I really do hope that, and I'm so genuinely pleased to see you here back for another video where we actually got a lot to talk about. The big wigs in the Premier League going to a meeting, London meeting, Big Todd Bowley pictured, going to talk about the Man City charges and stuff. Oh, what are they doing out there? We'll talk about that. Joao Felix has said a lot, talking about Chelsea. He did a interview with AS, or AS, in Spain. Positive stuff about Graham Potter and Chelsea and some updates on maybe a permanent transfer. Exciting. And Aubameyang Bloodcut Jan. Put the G on the end. I don't want him to sound like Jan. Off to LAFC. Apparently. Exciting stuff. So, thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking the video. It's a way of supporting the content. A click of a button. You're welcome to subscribe, and should you choose to do so, you should hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Yeah. Bringing back the harmonies, baby girl. So let's start off with Aubameyang Bloodclot Young. Joao Felix citing Graham Bailey saying, Los Angeles FC have agreed a deal in principle with Chelsea to loan forward Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Interesting. So obviously this answers my question from the last video, the last upload, that yes, we can get rid of him outside our transfer window if it's to a non-European league. And of course the MLS is just that. Feel a little bit for Aubameyang. Many of you won't, but I kind of do. He was doing well for Barcelona. He was scoring goals for Barcelona. And they were happy not to sell him. They quite liked him. It's only because of Lewandowski. They were like, okay, we'll sell him to Chelsea. And it's only because of Thomas Tuchel. Aubameyang was like, yeah, I'll come to Chelsea. And now he's being farmed out to the MLS on loan. And he's been taken out of Chelsea's Champions League squad. You've got to assume that when we withdrew him from the UCL squad, he knew that he was probably going to get a move somewhere. I mean, damn. The thing is, Aubameyang likes to have a good time. So if you said to him, look, brother, you're 33, 34, however old you are, just go to LA. Go to LA, enjoy some sun, play some football in an easier league, score some goals, just have a good time, bro. You know, you're not on the, just, you know, it's time to wind down. Which is like, you know, it's easy to be convinced of that. You might be like, yeah, you know what, I'm down. I do feel a bit bad for him, although he just doesn't work here, you know, it's been a bit underwhelming, a bit poor, a bit frustrating. Let's move on. So, Joao Felix has done an interview with AS talking about his move to Chelsea and lots of stuff in between, though I was unable to read the article source itself because my web browser didn't give me a choice to translate because the interview is done in images. So without reading Spanish, and I do not hablo español, I can't. So I'm using a couple of sources here, Fabrizio Romano and a couple of pages from Joao Felix's Chelsea-news.co for a little bit of context. First of all, what did Graham Potter say to Joao Felix? So this is coming from Joao Felix. Graham Potter has been handed some absolute gems as new signing in January. Yes, Potter is known for his top man management and creating a rapport with these players, and he's going to need all those skills to keep on top of a very large and quality Chelsea squad now going into next season. So, of course, Joao Felix has done said extensive interview in AS in Spain this week. And one of the things he did speak about in this interview was Graham Potter and his conversations with Graham Potter upon Felix's arrival at Chelsea. Quote, Felix said this, quote, on the first days, Graham Potter called me into the locker room. We were talking about his idea of play, the idea of play he had for me. So I guess he had a pitch for him. He explained to me how the team plays. I'd like him to explain that to me. But I'm glad someone knows. God, I make myself laugh. That's depressing. How the team plays, what they do. Again, I really liked how he interacted with me. Again, this is clearly a strength of Graham Potter. You can tell he's a very good person and a great coach. So yeah, really, really positive feedback from the Atletico Madrid superstar. And he also goes on and talks about the transition from Spain to the Premier League. He says this: "It's a great club. The structures are very, very good. They have it all." Pause. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Joao Felix is an intelligent, multilingual young man who's got a wealth of footballing cultural experience. He seems like a smart kid, right? He's come in, and these players, they're like, yes, clearly the infrastructure's there. Clearly the stuff is here for success. Like, the structures are very, very good. So good, he said very twice. They have it all, boys and girls. They have a lot of people around them to make everything okay. Again, let's try and transition all this into the football, right? Eventually it will come, and that makes all the difference. They are very well structured. Dude hammering that nail home. I guess maybe he's like been burnt by Atletico. It shows clearly by the signings and everything that Chelsea are a rich club. Okay. It's changing the club inside, they're putting new people in, and they are in a phase of change. You can tell it's a club that has a lot of money, and I want to stay with the money. Interesting talking about the riches, but he's obviously very impressed with the money, and more saliently and most importantly, the structures and the gaffer. He loves it. He's only played 57 minutes. I'm getting overexcited, but yeah, it's early days. So Fabrizio Romano also citing a piece from this interview differently. He's saying, Joao Felix said this: "I feel very good at Chelsea. I like the club. There's no option to buy in the contract." So there you go, confirmation there. There was a little bit of uncertainty, but there is no option to buy in the contract. So obviously there'll be no obligation and not even an option. So if they want to keep me, they will have to find an agreement with Atletico, he says. "I'm getting to know the club. I like it. We will never know the future." Yeah, very good. He's not going to say after 57 minutes of play on the football field, "Transfer me permanently for 120 million euros," or whatever the ruddy heck it's going to be. But he's comfortable here already. He's not like, you know, think of all like many loan signings that have come in and just not settled. He is comfortable. He's like I said, he speaks English. He's obviously speaking Spanish to other players. He speaks. Do we have any Portuguese? Well, Brazilian and Portuguese, obviously. But like, you know, he's integrated well. He's already doing the Chelsea media with Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Wesley Fofana. He's comfortable. He's made friends. He's going around London. He's taking pictures of himself on, you know, socials. He's clearly enjoying it and integrating. I think he's brought his family over. He likes Chelsea. Despite us languishing in mid-table, of course, we'll have a chance to see him play the football tomorrow, which will be, you know, if he tears up for West Ham, the positive momentum, the positive news story regarding Joao Felix will simply just perpetuate and get more and more, to the point where Atletico will be rubbing their hands together because they're like, well, he's going to have to, you know, they're going to buy him. He doesn't want to come back here and stink it up under Simeone. We've got an option to make our money back here in Joao Felix, and they'll probably want a little bit more. Because remember, they signed him from Benfica as a teenager. They'd argue he's more of a complete... I mean, he hasn't scored the same or assisted the same as since he's been in the Portuguese league. But they spent 120 million euros on him. I think they won 140 million euros. Which I kind of get, despite him not having crazy numbers. But there's sort of mitigating circumstances. But, you know, he's starting for Portugal. He's a great player. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but positive noises. All right, moving on. Reading the crap rag, the Mail Online. Interesting. I actually don't know this story, so I want to go through it with you guys. The Man City Summit. Premier League bigwigs, including Chelsea's Todd Bowley, Amanda Staveley, head to London Plush Churchill Hotel for a feisty finger-pointing over finance rules. A lot of alliteration there. Why are they... Okay. I mean, Chelsea, and I mean, to be honest, Newcastle have spent a lot, but they've sort of wound their necks in a little bit. I think Chelsea are going to get a lot of finger-pointing. But We're not cooking the books. We're transparent in what we're doing. Chelsea chairman Todd Boehly and Newcastle chief Amanda Staveley were pictured rocking up, meandering in to London's Churchill Hotel on Thursday as representatives from each of the top clubs discussed the Premier League's charges against Man City. Like, how are we gonna prevent this from happening to us? And why is my mouse no longer working? I think it's running out of battery. This is very concerning. The Premier League champions were charged on Monday with over 100 alleged financial rules breached across a 9-year period. We reacted here, of course, on the channel. Sensational story, and are at risk of a points deduction or even expulsion from the division, and should the accusations be proved. Also, I was listening on the Athletic Football podcast that the EFL, of course, if they get expelled from the Premier League, which is like, you know, almost certainly won't happen, but should that happen, the EFL would be under no obligation to accept them into their football period, the top three leagues behind the Premier League. Although someone was right to say they'd be mental not to, because in terms of like how good that would be for the EFL, for the Football League, you know, having Guardiola would probably do one. Well, he would absolutely not fine the Football League. But you know, just having the Man City, the Etihad, in the Championship or something, like, you know, that would be mental to not accept that. So yes, the financial fair play regulations will be the agenda of a quarterly meeting this week. So yeah, Premier League anticipating a long-term battle. However, representatives from Premier League clubs were called to London on Thursday to take part in a club strategy meeting, and will no doubt wish to discuss City's impending crisis. A day in advance. Executives fear the case, which has been referred to as an independent commission, could go on for at least 2 years. Yeah, also, they want an independent regulator, don't they? But the Premier League doesn't want that, because the Premier League, it will interfere with their like stuff, basically. They want to do it all themselves. This is apparently largely the reason why they're going in on Man City, like Serie A did to Juventus, or currently have. They're like, yeah, you know, Italy is like, we don't care that they've been our most successful team in the last 10 years. Basically, they're Man City, well, more than their Man City. We don't take any funny business around here, and we're gonna throw the book at him. And the Premier League are going to be like, yeah, we can do that too. We don't need a regulator. So alongside Boehly and Staveley, Brighton chief Tony Bloom and Barber were seen arriving at the capital. Premier League executives anticipated that upcoming shareholder meeting would be a feisty occasion with a lot of finger pointing earlier this week, according to The Independent. Yeah. Basically, Chelsea spending money. So it's so weird. Like, surely, what are they? This panic meeting, right? They're going to be like, yeah, Man City have been under investigation for ages. UEFA have investigated them. This has been an ongoing, you know, investigation by the Premier League for 4 years. It's not come out of nowhere. It kind of has come out of nowhere that they did something about it. A lot of people thought they'd protected their, like, big mega winning asset and, like, you know, just stay quiet and like everyone carry on, you know, sort of thing. But yeah, they've obviously cut. But you know, Todd Boehly as well, he said it's starting to show its teeth, financial fair play. He knew about it. He came. I mean, I'm only really give a crap about Chelsea, understandably. You know, I don't want, like, you know, all the big teams to be kicked out of the Prem, and you know, you want your rivals there. But you know, this meeting, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but clearly there's like a bit of a panic going on, and they all want to make sure they're safe. But you know, teams like Brighton, Tony Bloom's sitting there in their meeting, he'll be like this. He'll be like, anyone want to buy another one of our players for £70 million? That we'll just buy another one for 2 million? They're sitting pretty, mate, above us in the Premier League, I think. Yeah, definitely. And you know, making loads of money, mainly off us. Anyway, I want to put out to you guys, let me know what you think. Speak about everything I've spoken about. Aubameyang, Joao Felix, financial fair play. There's just so much. If you enjoyed the content, thank you for dropping a like. Hey, you can share it. Does anyone share anymore? Do you remember sharing stuff? This is your chance to share and shine. Yeah, thank you for joining me. I'll see you very soon. Keep it locked. Peace.